The champagne glasses were already sweating. Condensation slid down crystal stems as employees gathered inside the executive conference room. A banner stretched across the wall, celebrating 35 years of Anderson Logistics. My father stood at the head of the table. My mother stood beside him, and next to them, tall, confident, already smiling like he owned the future, stood my older brother, Daniel, the golden child, the assumed heir. I stood near the back wall, not because I had to, because I was used to it. My father topped his glass. The room quieted. 35 years ago, he began, your mother and I started this company with one truck and a small warehouse. Nods, smiles, a few emotional employees. And now, he continued, voice thick with pride, it's time for the next generation to lead. My mother squeezed Daniel's arm. We are officially handing Anderson Logistics over to Daniel. Applause erupted. Cheers filled the room. Daniel hugged them both like he had just been crowned king. Then he looked at me. A small smirk. Not everyone in the family was cut out for this business, but that's okay. Soft laughter. My mother avoided eye contact. My father adjusted his tie. They truly believed I had nothing. They had forgotten. I walked forward calmly, opened my briefcase, removed a thin leather folder. Before anything becomes official, I said evenly, sliding it across the table, you might want to review a shareholder registry. The room went silent. Daniel chuckled. Don't do this. My father opened the folder. His expression changed. My mother leaned closer. Daniel grabbed the document, and there it was, 51%. 8 years ago, the company almost collapsed. The 2008 financial crash didn't just hit Wall Street, it crushed transportation companies like ours. Fuel prices spiked, contracts vanished, bank lines pulled credit. Our warehouse sat half empty, trucks were parked and idle. Payroll was due in 9 days. I was working in private equity in New York at the time. Analyzing distressed companies was my job. When my father called, his voice didn't sound strong. We may need help. I flew home that weekend. I reviewed the numbers. We were less than 30 days from insolvency. Daniel presented optimistic projections. It'll bounce back, he kept saying. It wouldn't. This company is upside down, I told them. The room stiffened. Then I made an offer. I can stabilize this, but not as a loan. Daniel narrowed his eyes. So what do you want? Equity. My father swallowed. How much? 51%. My mother looked betrayed. Daniel stood up. You're trying to take it. I'm trying to save it. The valuation was low because we were desperate. I injected capital, renegotiated bank terms, restructured fleet debt, closed one warehouse, rewrote vendor contracts, worked 18-hour days for months. I didn't take a salary. I didn't ask for recognition. When the economy recovered, so did the company. And publicly, everyone credited Daniel. I didn't correct them because I didn't need applause. I had ownership. Back in the conference room, my father whispered, "This was temporary." I replied, "There's no expiration clause." Daniel turned to the company attorney. The attorney examined the document. "It's valid," he said. Murmurs spread across the room. Daniel slammed his hand on the table. "I'm the CEO." "Titles don't override voting power," I answered. My mother's eyes filled with tears. "I'm not here to embarrass anyone," I said quietly. "I'm here to correct the assumption." An emergency board meeting was scheduled. 3 board members, my father, an external advisor, and me. Daniel assumed control would automatically transfer to him. I presented a detailed strategic review, operational risks, over-expansion concerns, compensation imbalance. The external advisor spoke carefully. We need experienced operational leadership at scale. Daniel stiffened. Are you saying I'm not capable? Capability isn't inherited, the advisor replied. I made my proposal. We hire an independent CEO with large-scale logistics experience. Daniel remains in an executive development role. The vote was called. Motion passed. Daniel was no longer the automatic successor. Dinner that week was tense. You could have handled this privately, my father said. You announced something that wasn't legally possible, I replied. My mother whispered, he's your brother. And this is our company. Silence filled the table. Finally, my father looked at me. Why fight for control if you never wanted the spotlight? Because leadership isn't about being seen. It's about protecting what's built. Daniel didn't take it well at first. He missed meetings, argued with managers, let ego guide decisions. One afternoon, he stormed into my office. You love watching me fail. No, I said. I hate watching you self-destruct. This is about Dad loving me more. No, I answered quietly. It's about responsibility. For him, this business wasn't strategy. It was validation. Growing up, he was the athlete, the charismatic one. I was the quiet one with spreadsheets. He needed applause. I needed stability. 6 months later, something shifted. He came to a strategy session early. He listened. Afterwards, he stayed behind. You were right about the expansion risk, he admitted. It was the first crack in the armor. I don't know how to do this without Dad guiding me, he said. Then learn, I replied, not as heir, as an executive. Slowly, he did. He sought mentorship, took executive courses, asked questions instead of issuing commands. The independent CEO balanced us. Revenue grew, margins improved, debt declined. And at the next company celebration, my father spoke again. Leadership isn't inheritance, he said. It's stewardship. This time, he looked at both of us equally. No comparison, no favoritism, just recognition. 2 years later, I called another board meeting. I'm restructuring ownership, I announced. Daniel's face tightened. I'm transferring 10% into a family trust, another 10% into executive stock options tied to performance. And you? I retain controlling interest, but not absolute dominance. Why? Because control shouldn't suffocate growth. He studied me carefully. You trust me now? I trust the version of you that earns it. For the first time in our lives, he didn't need to win. He just needed to belong. People still ask if I regret that day, the day champagne turned into silence. No, because ownership isn't about power. It's about responsibility when others assume too much. My parents didn't just forget I owned 51%. They forgot something more important. The quiet child was paying attention, and when the moment came, he was the majority.